The pages of this book have survived wars, empires, and centuries of scrutiny, yet no one alive can read a single sentence inside it. Every symbol flows with precision, every illustration follows a hidden order, and every page suggests intention without explanation. Scholars, codebreakers, and scientists have studied it for over 100 years, applying mathematics, linguistics, and artificial intelligence, only to walk away empty-handed. It was written in the 15th century, preserved in silence, and rediscovered in the modern age, still untouched by understanding. What kind of mind creates something so detailed, so consistent, and so unreachable? And why has it remained unread for more than 600 years? The screen flickers to life, revealing an ancient book resting on a dark wooden table. It is open, its pages yellowed with age, the edges worn and curled. On the left side, strange symbols, undecipherable, alien, flow like an intricate river of ink, while on the right, vivid illustrations of plants, astronomical charts, and nude women bathing in mysterious liquids only add to the mystery. The camera slowly zooms in on the manuscript, emphasizing the perplexing nature of its existence. The soft hum of an eerie, almost otherworldly tune fills the background. The camera then focuses on a close-up of one of the symbols, slowly twisting and turning it, as if searching for its meaning. A whispered voice echoes. What if the answers to humanity's deepest secrets were locked in a book? A book that no one can read, no one can truly understand? This is the Voynich Manuscript, the world's most enigmatic, mysterious book. For centuries, it has tantalized scholars, cryptographers, and conspiracy theorists alike. The story of this manuscript is far more than just one of strange symbols and cryptic images. It is a story of obsession, mystery, and the search for knowledge that may never be unlocked. What lies hidden in these pages? Is it an elaborate hoax? Or could it be the work of an advanced civilization, a lost people whose secrets are still waiting to be uncovered? Could the manuscript hold clues to hidden knowledge, power, or even something darker than we could ever imagine? The manuscript itself is believed to date back to the early 15th century, though its true origins remain a mystery. Some say it was written by an alchemist or occultist, while others suggest that it may be the product of a secret society, crafted to protect esoteric wisdom from prying eyes. Whatever its origins, one thing is certain. This book has survived centuries and is now a key subject of intrigue in the world of cryptography, history, and the occult. But what makes this manuscript so perplexing? It's not just the strange symbols it contains. It's the complete absence of any context or key to unlock its meaning. While hundreds, if not thousands, of experts have tried their hands at deciphering the manuscript, it remains as enigmatic as ever. And perhaps that is what makes it all the more compelling. The sense that the answers might just be out of reach, like a puzzle whose pieces are scattered, always teasing, always out of grasp. The first person to bring the Voynich manuscript into the public was Wilfrid Voynich, an antiquarian bookseller who discovered the manuscript in 1912. He found it in the library of the Collegio Romano in Rome, a Jesuit institution. From the moment Voynich laid eyes on the book, he knew it was something special. The script was unlike anything he had ever seen. Its unique characters, flowing smoothly across the pages, seemed to be a language of their own, a language that no one, not even the most brilliant cryptographers, had ever managed to decode. The illustrations within the book only added to its mystery. Some depicted plants that did not exist anywhere in the known world, while others seemed to hint at astronomical knowledge, centuries ahead of its time. Still others featured naked women engaged in strange, ritualistic bathing scenes, their bodies covered in what appear to be mysterious substances, like some kind of alchemical elixir. Voynich, convinced that he had stumbled upon something extraordinary, purchased the manuscript and began his journey to unlock its secrets. But what happened next would change the course of history. Voynich's discovery of the manuscript sparked a flood of interest from scholars, cryptographers, and even the military. The manuscript was no longer just a curiosity. It became the ultimate puzzle. Over the years, Many prominent figures, some of the greatest minds in cryptography, have tried to crack its code. Some believed it was simply a sophisticated cipher, while others speculated that it was written in an entirely new, unknown language. One of the most intriguing aspects of a Voynich manuscript is that no one has ever succeeded in decoding its text. Despite decades of effort from top linguists, mathematicians, and cryptographers, the manuscript's meaning remains as elusive as ever. Its language doesn't appear to resemble any known tongue, ancient or modern, and its symbols do not correspond to any known alphabet or cipher. It is as though the book was written in a completely alien script, one that simply doesn't exist anywhere else in human history. Throughout the 20th century, the mystery of the manuscript deepened. During World War II, the Allies enlisted cryptographers to attempt to decipher the book, hoping that it might hold some kind of secret knowledge that could benefit the war effort. Some believed it might contain hidden instructions or codes for spies, while others thought it might be a relic of a secret society, perhaps even containing alchemical or astrological wisdom that could be of great importance. But despite all their efforts, no one was able to make headway. It seemed as though the manuscript was completely impervious to the most brilliant minds of the time. Even modern technology, including the use of advanced algorithms and artificial intelligence, has failed to shed light on the meaning of the text. And yet, despite the countless hours spent analyzing it, the manuscript remains just as baffling as it was when it first surfaced. So, why does the Voynich manuscript continue to captivate us? What is it about this strange, cryptic book that keeps us coming back, year after year, trying to unlock its mysteries? The answer lies not just in the book's tantalizing text and images, but in the very nature of the mystery itself. There is something about the unknown that draws us in, something about the idea that there may be a hidden world of knowledge and wisdom that we have yet to uncover. Perhaps the manuscript is a symbol of humanity's never-ending quest for answers, our desire to understand the mysteries of the world and the universe around us. Or perhaps it is a reminder that there are some mysteries that may never be solved, that some puzzles are simply too great for us to understand. But what if the manuscript isn't meant to be understood by us? What if its purpose is not to reveal its secrets, but to guard them? Could it be that the manuscript is a cipher not just for a language, but for a way of thinking, a method of understanding the world that we've long since forgotten? The idea that this manuscript might hold the key to a lost civilization or a hidden tradition is a theory that has captivated many, particularly those who believe that there are ancient truths waiting to be uncovered. Could the book be a relic from an ancient culture, perhaps even a civilization that predates recorded history? Some theorists have suggested that the manuscript might come from a time long before the rise of the great empires of the ancient world, perhaps even from the time of Atlantis or another lost civilization whose knowledge has been obscured by time. If that were the case, then the manuscript might hold the last remaining traces of this forgotten wisdom, a treasure trove of knowledge, waiting to be unlocked by someone who can decipher its language. Others believe that the manuscript could be the work of a secret society, perhaps the Rosicrucians or the Freemasons, who were known to hide their knowledge in codes and symbols. In this view, the manuscript isn't just a mystery, it is a deliberate puzzle, meant to be solved only by those who are worthy of its secrets. It is possible that the manuscript was designed as a test, a challenge for the initiated to prove their worthiness by cracking the code. If this theory is correct, then the book may not just contain hidden knowledge. It may hold the key to a hidden tradition, a secret order whose members have guarded their esoteric wisdom for centuries. As we delve deeper into the mystery of the Voynich manuscript, we are confronted not just with a puzzle, but with the limits of human knowledge. We are reminded that for all our advancements in science, technology, and cryptography, there are still mysteries that elude us, things that may never be understood, no matter how hard we try. And in that elusiveness, there's a certain power, a power that draws us in and keeps us searching, keeps us wondering what secrets lie hidden in those pages. What if the answer is just out of reach? What if the Voynich Manuscript is not a challenge to be solved, but a riddle that will remain unsolved for as long as humanity exists? Perhaps that is the true mystery of the manuscript, a mystery that transcends time, a puzzle that continues to haunt us, drawing us ever deeper into its enigma. In 1912, an antiquarian book dealer named Wilfred Voynich found himself in the dusty, dim-lit corridors of the Collegio Romano, an ancient Jesuit library in Rome. What he discovered there would change the course of history, igniting a mystery that is yet to be solved. Hidden among forgotten shelves and crumbling tomes, a strange and otherworldly manuscript caught his eye. It was bound in a thick, dark leather cover, its pages fragile and yellowed with age, as though the book had lived for centuries. The manuscript was entirely different from anything Voynich had ever seen. Its pages were filled with an intricate script, unlike any language or alphabet known to man. It was as if the words themselves were written by an entirely different hand, in an entirely different world. Yet it wasn't just the cryptic writing that made the manuscript stand out. The book was also filled with bizarre, detailed illustrations, exotic plants that didn't exist anywhere in the world, strange astronomical charts that defied conventional understanding, and mysterious scenes of naked women bathing in strange, unidentifiable liquids. These images seemed to pulse with an eerie kind of energy, as though they were trying to convey some hidden truth, some secret knowledge that had long been forgotten. Voynich, immediately captivated by the manuscript, recognized that he had stumbled upon something extraordinary, something that could unravel the very fabric of history itself. He purchased the book and took it back to his estate, where he began to unravel its mysteries. But as Voynich dug deeper into the manuscript's pages, he quickly realized that it wasn't just a book. It was an enigma, a riddle wrapped in an unsolvable code. No one, not even the most skilled cryptographers, had been able to decipher its strange text. For the next few years, Voynich attempted to crack the code, sending out copies of the manuscript to various scholars, linguists, and codebreakers across the world. But despite their best efforts, the manuscript remained as indecipherable as the day it was discovered. Each page was a labyrinth of symbols, each symbol a puzzle that defied understanding. Voynich, undeterred, became obsessed with the manuscript. He spent countless hours studying its strange symbols, attempting to find patterns, to connect the dots between the mysterious illustrations and the incomprehensible script. He was convinced that the manuscript held a hidden meaning, a treasure trove of knowledge waiting to be unlocked. But what kind of knowledge could it possibly contain? Some scholars suggested that it was simply a hoax, a sophisticated forgery meant to deceive and mystify. Others believed that it was a medieval text, possibly created by an alchemist or occultist, meant to encode secret knowledge or mystical teachings. Still, others theorized that the manuscript was the work of a secret society, perhaps the Rosicrucians or the Freemasons, who were known to hide their esoteric wisdom in coded texts. Despite all these theories, no one had a concrete explanation for the manuscript's origins. Even the most learned historians and linguists were stumped. The book seemed to defy all logic and reason, its language completely unlike anything in the known world. It was as if the manuscript had been written by an alien intelligence, or by a long-lost civilization whose language and knowledge had never been recorded. The questions surrounding the manuscript were endless. Who wrote it? When was it created? And what purpose did it serve? These questions only deepened the mystery, and with each passing year, the manuscript seemed to grow even more elusive, more impossible to understand. Voynich's obsession with the manuscript grew as well. He continued to send out copies of the text to experts in cryptography, hoping that someone, anyone, would be able to crack the code. Some of the world's most famous cryptographers, including those who had worked on the Enigma machine during World War II, took a crack at it. But despite their best efforts, the manuscript refused to yield its secrets. In fact, some of the most brilliant minds in the field, after spending years analyzing the text, came to the same conclusion. The manuscript was unsolvable. Its language didn't match any known linguistic structure, and the symbols seemed to be completely random, without any discernible pattern or logic. For decades, the manuscript lay dormant, its secrets locked away, its meaning just out of reach. But the mystery surrounding it never faded. Instead, it grew. Scholars and amateur researchers alike continued to speculate on its origins, its meaning, and its purpose. Some believe that the manuscript contained knowledge from an ancient, lost civilization, perhaps even the lost city of Atlantis. Others thought it might be a guide to alchemical practices, a text containing the secrets of the philosopher's stone or the elixir of life. Still others theorized that it could be a cryptic prophecy, a warning about the future, or even a manual for unlocking the deepest secrets of the universe. As the years went on, the Voynich Manuscript began to take on a life of its own. It became the subject of countless theories and speculations, each more bizarre than the last. Some believed that it was a hoax, a work of fiction meant to deceive and amuse, while others insisted that it was the real thing, a true relic from an ancient civilization, holding the keys to knowledge that had been lost to time. The book was as enigmatic as it was captivating, and its mystery only seemed to grow with each passing year. In the 1950s, a breakthrough came that would forever change the course of the manuscript's history. A cryptanalyst named William Friedman, who had been involved in breaking codes during World War II, took a special interest in the manuscript. He believed that the book was more than just a hoax. It was a cipher, a code that had been specifically designed to conceal its meaning. However, despite his extensive efforts, Friedman was unable to crack the code. He soon realized that the manuscript was not merely a cipher. It was something else entirely. It was as though the book had been created with the sole purpose of defying understanding, a text meant to evade the most sophisticated attempts at decipherment. Despite this setback, Friedman's work sparked a renewed interest in the manuscript. Researchers began to use new methods of analysis, applying computer algorithms to the manuscript's text in an attempt to find patterns. What they discovered was both fascinating and frustrating. The text appeared to follow a set of rules. There were certain recurring symbols, and these symbols seemed to form coherent groups of words. Yet, despite all the technological advances, no one was able to make sense of these patterns. It was as though the manuscript had been created specifically to elude all attempts at translation. And so, the mystery of the Voynich Manuscript continued to captivate the minds of researchers, cryptographers, and conspiracy theorists. With each new breakthrough came new questions, and with each new question came a deeper sense of intrigue. Could the manuscript be a lost text from a forgotten civilization? Could it be a hoax designed to deceive and mystify? Or could it be something far more profound, holding the secrets of a universe in its pages? No one knows for sure. But one thing is certain. The manuscript has become more than just an ancient book. It has become a symbol of humanity's eternal quest for knowledge, a riddle that may never be solved, but one that will continue to tantalize, provoke, and inspire for centuries to come. As we stand on the threshold of the 21st century, the Voynich Manuscript remains as enigmatic as ever. New theories, new attempts at decoding, and new methods of analysis continue to emerge, yet the book itself remains locked in a world of its own. Perhaps, in the end, the manuscript is not just a mystery to be solved, but a reminder of the limits of human understanding. In a world where knowledge is power, the Voynich Manuscript remains a powerful symbol of everything that we have yet to understand. And perhaps that is its greatest secret of all. The mystery surrounding the Voynich Manuscript has captivated minds for centuries, and one of the most intriguing aspects of the book is the language in which it is written. It is not just a simple code or a forgotten script. It is an entirely unknown language, one that defies all attempts at decipherment. From the very first time the manuscript was brought into the public eye, the question that scholars and cryptographers alike have struggled with is this: what is the true nature of the language of the Voynich Manuscript? Why does it appear to be so completely alien, yet so intricately crafted? The script in the manuscript is composed of a series of characters, many of which seem to resemble letters, but none of them correspond to any known language, past, or present. Some have speculated that the manuscript is written in a cipher, a secret code meant to obscure its meaning. But others believe it is a fully developed language of its own, an entirely new mode of communication. But what makes the manuscript's language so baffling is not just the unfamiliarity of the script. It is the complete lack of any recognizable pattern or structure that would normally make a language decipherable. Linguists and cryptographers have spent years trying to make sense of the manuscript's text, each applying their own methods of analysis. Some have focused on the individual symbols themselves, attempting to match them to known alphabets or ciphers. Others have looked at the overall structure of the text, trying to detect patterns or repetitions that might offer a clue to its meaning. But despite their efforts, the manuscript has refused to yield any secrets. It is as if the text is designed to be impervious to all attempts at translation, no matter how sophisticated the techniques employed. Some have even gone so far as to suggest that the manuscript's language might be completely random, devoid of any inherent meaning. But this theory, while tempting, seems unlikely given the meticulous nature of the text construction. Each page is written with an extraordinary level of precision, and the characters flow in a way that suggests a well-organized structure, even if that structure remains a mystery. As cryptographers and linguists have worked on a manuscript, one thing has become clear. The language is not a simple code, nor is it a jumble of random characters. The script follows a set of rules, albeit ones that we have yet to fully comprehend. There are recurring symbols, and certain patterns emerge when the manuscript is studied in detail. For example, some characters appear with a frequency that suggests they might represent common linguistic elements, like vowels or articles in the grammar of a language. Other symbols seem to group together in ways that might indicate word structure or even entire phrases. Yet no one has been able to identify the meaning behind these symbols or their patterns. The manuscript's language remains as mysterious as it was when it first came to light. One of the most compelling aspects of the language is its apparent consistency. Unlike many other coded texts, which can sometimes be deciphered through brute force or pattern recognition, the Voynich Manuscript doesn't yield easily to these methods. There are no obvious breaks or repetitions that might indicate a common language structure, and the symbols themselves seem to be fluid, shifting in form from one page to the next. This fluidity has led some to propose that the manuscript's language may have been invented specifically for this book. It is possible that the creator of the manuscript designed a completely new script, one that was entirely self-contained and unrelated to any known linguistic traditions. This would make the manuscript not just a cipher, but a unique linguistic artifact, one that holds clues to an entirely new form of communication, one that has never been seen before. As scholars continue to work on the manuscript, some have proposed that the language might be a constructed or artificial language, similar to the way Esperanto was created in the 19th century. In this view, the creator of the manuscript may have deliberately crafted a new language for reasons that are still unclear. Some have suggested that the manuscript's language could be a philosophical or mystical language, one that was designed to encode hidden knowledge or ideas in a way that only the initiated could understand. Others have speculated that the language could be linked to ancient occult practices, with its symbols serving as a code for alchemical, astrological, or spiritual concepts that were considered too dangerous or too sacred for the general public to understand. Whatever the case may be, the fact that the manuscript's language remains unsolved, despite the best efforts of experts, adds to its mystique and intrigue. In addition to the script itself, another aspect of the manuscript that has baffled scholars is the way in which it appears to be both a written document and an artistic one. The illustrations that fill its pages are not just random decorations or embellishments. They are integral to the manuscript's meaning, or at least to its perceived meaning. Some scholars believe that the images in the manuscript might be directly linked to the text, providing a visual key to understanding the language. But again, this idea remains speculative. The illustrations depict everything from detailed botanical drawings, showing plants that do not appear to exist anywhere in the world, to celestial diagrams and astrological charts, to scenes of women bathing in strange alchemical substances. These images are not just random. They seem to follow a specific, internal logic, a pattern that might help explain the manuscript's meaning. However, like the text, the images remain enigmatic and have yet to reveal their true significance. Some have suggested that the manuscript creator was a visionary, someone who saw the world in a completely different way, and who sought to communicate these unique insights through the use of symbols and images. Others have proposed that the manuscript was the work of a secret society, one that encoded its knowledge in a way that only a select few could understand. If this theory is correct, then the manuscript might not just be a linguistic puzzle, but a piece of a much larger and more complex mystery, one that could hold the key to unlocking ancient, forbidden knowledge. But despite the various theories and speculations, there is one fact that cannot be denied. The language of the Voynich Manuscript is unlike anything that has ever been seen before. It is as if the manuscript is a portal to a different time, a different place, and a different way of thinking. It is as if the book itself is a bridge between our world and another, one that has been lost to history. And for all the progress that has been made in the field of cryptography, the language of the Voynich Manuscript remains an impenetrable wall, one that has yet to be breached. As the years pass and new technologies emerge, some have held out hope that a breakthrough will come, that the manuscript's language will finally be cracked and its secrets revealed. There are those who believe that artificial intelligence might one day hold the key to understanding the manuscript, using machine learning to analyze the text and find hidden patterns that human eyes have missed. Others are more skeptical, suggesting that the manuscript may be unsolvable, a riddle that was designed to remain forever beyond our comprehension. Regardless of the outcome, the Voynich Manuscript will undoubtedly continue to be a source of fascination, sparking new theories and ideas as long as it remains in existence. What is clear is that the language of the Voynich Manuscript is not just a simple mystery. It is a symbol of the limits of human knowledge. It represents the boundary between what we know and what we don't know, between the known and the unknown. It is a reminder that there are some things in this world that may never be understood, no matter how hard we try. And perhaps that is the true allure of the manuscript, that it holds within it the promise of knowledge, a promise that may never be fulfilled. It is a mystery that draws us in, challenges our understanding, and reminds us that some questions may never have answers. The Voynich Manuscript is not just a text. It is a journey into the unknown, a window into a world that seems to exist beyond time and space. What makes this manuscript so intriguing, aside from its mysterious script, are the illustrations that fill its pages. These images are as enigmatic as the text itself, each one offering a clue, a hint, or perhaps a deliberate misdirection, but none offering any clear answers. The illustrations are not just decorative. They seem to serve a dual purpose. One, to convey information that is somehow linked to the text, and two, to deepen the mystery surrounding the manuscript. As we step into the world of these illustrations, we are confronted with a puzzle that is as complex and layered as the manuscript's language. The plants depicted within the pages of the manuscript are perhaps the most perplexing. At first glance, some of the botanical drawings seem like simple representations of real-world plants. But a closer examination reveals that these plants do not correspond to any known species. Some are entirely fantastical, with features that do not appear in nature. There are plants with twisting, spiraling stems, others with flowers that seem to exist in impossible formations, and still others that appear to combine elements from several different species in ways that defy the rules of biology. Why would the author of the manuscript choose to depict these strange, otherworldly plants? Could they be symbolic, representing something beyond the realm of natural science? Some scholars believe that the plants in the manuscript might be metaphors for something deeper, perhaps representing the stages of alchemical transformation or the hidden forces of nature that govern the universe. Others have suggested that these plants might be the key to understanding the manuscript's meaning, that they could be linked to the ancient practices of herbalism or even to the mythical knowledge of the philosopher's stone. Still, Despite these theories, the plants remain frustratingly elusive, refusing to reveal any concrete information. These illustrations hint at knowledge that is as old as civilization itself, but they do not offer a clear path forward. The botanical drawings are only the beginning. As we move through the manuscript, we encounter other, equally strange illustrations, many of which seem to belong to a completely different domain, astronomy. Some pages of the manuscript are filled with circular charts, lines radiating outward, and star-like symbols that suggest an advanced understanding of the cosmos. These diagrams do not resemble any known astrological or astronomical charts from the time period, and they seem to depict celestial bodies and phenomena that were not recognized by scholars of the 15th century. Are these charts a form of hidden knowledge, a guide to understanding the stars and planets in a way that was lost to history? Could the manuscript be encoding astronomical data, perhaps as part of a larger scheme to preserve ancient knowledge about the cosmos, its cycles, and its mysteries? Some theories propose that the manuscript is an astronomical treatise, an ancient guide to understanding the heavens, hidden away in an encrypted form. The connection to astrology, too, cannot be overlooked. The 15th century was a time when many intellectuals, from kings to scholars, were obsessed with the movements of the stars, believing that the heavens could reveal secrets about the future. Could the manuscript's astronomical charts represent prophetic knowledge, a way of predicting events based on the stars? This, too, remains a tantalizing possibility, though no one has yet been able to confirm it. The manuscript's illustrations take another curious turn when we encounter the depictions of women bathing in mysterious fluids. These images are not just random or fanciful. They appear repeatedly, in a way that suggests a deliberate thematic element. The women are shown in various stages of undress, their bodies submerged in strange pools of liquid, sometimes surrounded by symbols or objects that seem to have a ritualistic significance. What are these women doing? Are they part of a larger alchemical process, perhaps undergoing a transformation, much like the base metals in the alchemical tradition were said to undergo transformation into gold? Some researchers have proposed that these illustrations represent a form of alchemical or spiritual purification, where the women are symbolically cleansing themselves in preparation for a deeper understanding of hidden knowledge. Others have suggested that these images are connected to fertility rituals or the sacred feminine, ideas that were prevalent in ancient religious practices. There are even those who believe that the women depicted in the manuscript could be connected to the ancient mysteries of the goddess cults, whose rituals often involve bathing or immersion in water as a symbol of rebirth. What we are left with is a series of images that are deeply symbolic, but whose true meaning continues to elude us. These illustrations, much like the text itself, seem to represent knowledge that has been deliberately obscured, hidden away for reasons that we may never fully understand. But there is more to the illustrations than just their botanical and astrological references. As we look deeper, we begin to notice a recurring theme that links many of the drawings together: a sense of ritual. From the bathing women to the mysterious symbols that appear in almost every illustration, there's a strong suggestion that these images are not merely decorative, but part of a larger, more complex system of knowledge, perhaps one that was meant to be understood only by a select few. This connection to ritual is reinforced by the way the images are arranged on the pages. Many of the illustrations are placed in a highly structured manner, with a clear sense of symmetry and order. It's almost as though the creator of the manuscript was following a precise, deliberate design, one that was meant to convey hidden truths in a way that would be comprehensible only to those who knew how to read between the lines. This sense of ritual, of hidden knowledge waiting to be unlocked, is what gives the manuscript its unique aura. It is a book that feels like a secret, a key to a world that is just out of reach. And perhaps that is what makes the manuscript so irresistible. The sense that there is something profound contained within its pages, something so deeply hidden that only the most dedicated minds can hope to uncover it. But no matter how many theories we propose, no matter how many hours are spent analyzing the manuscript's intricate illustrations, the truth remains elusive. The botanical drawings, the astronomical charts, and the bathing women are all part of a larger puzzle, one whose pieces do not fit together in any conventional way. Each illustration is a clue, a breadcrumb on a trail that leads into the unknown, but none of them offer a complete picture. As we look at these images, we are forced to confront the limitations of our understanding. The manuscript, with all its strange beauty and mystery, stands as a reminder that there are some things in this world that we may never fully comprehend. It is a mirror reflecting back at us the depth of our own curiosity and the vastness of the unknown. The Voynich Manuscript is a riddle that resists all attempts to be solved, a challenge to our intellect and our imagination. But despite the frustration it brings, it is also a source of endless fascination. The more we try to unlock its secrets, the more we are drawn into its web, captivated by the idea that there is something more to be discovered, just beyond our reach. And perhaps that, in the end, is the true allure of the manuscript. It is not the answers it may or may not hold, but the endless possibilities it represents. In the intricate, impossible illustrations of the Voynich Manuscript, we see a world that exists on the edges of our understanding, a world where knowledge is both within our grasp and forever beyond it. Theories about the Voynich Manuscript's origins have varied widely, and each one seems to offer a glimpse into the profound mystery of the book, yet none of them can provide a definitive answer. One of the most fascinating aspects of the manuscript is its mysterious provenance. Who created it? When was it written? And why? These questions have intrigued historians and scholars for centuries, and every theory that emerges only adds layers to the enigma, making it even harder to decipher the truth. While the manuscript has been studied extensively, its true origins remain elusive, and theories surrounding its creation span a wide spectrum. Some believe the book was written by a single individual, perhaps an alchemist, astrologer, or occultist who sought to preserve esoteric knowledge for future generations. Others speculate that it was the work of a secret society, a group dedicated to keeping their wisdom hidden from masses. A few have even suggested that the manuscript could have come from an ancient civilization, one that predated even the most advanced cultures known in history. Each theory adds its own intrigue to the manuscript's legacy, but none offer conclusive evidence about its origins. The first theory, which suggests the manuscript was the work of a single individual, traces back to the 15th century, a time when alchemical practices, astrology, and the occult were deeply embedded in European intellectual and cultural life. During this period, individuals who dabbled in such fields often communicated in coded languages, creating complex systems of symbols and figures to hide their knowledge from the uninitiated. Could the Voynich manuscript have been written by an alchemist or astrologer who wished to preserve secret knowledge, a compendium of their studies, or perhaps an advanced theory of the cosmos that could have been lost to time? If this was the case, it would explain the strange botanical, astronomical, and alchemical illustrations that fill the manuscript. Some have even suggested that the author of the manuscript was an alchemist trying to encode their work in a manner that would prevent it from being understood by the wrong people. Perhaps an effort to protect ancient wisdom from being exploited or misused. The theory also finds some support in the manuscript's cryptic language, which some scholars argue could be a code or cipher designed to obscure the text's meaning. However, this theory alone raises more questions than it answers. Why would an individual, especially an alchemist, who was traditionally devoted to the pursuit of knowledge, go to such great lengths to conceal their discoveries? Why would they create such an elaborate system of symbols, one so complex that even the brightest minds of subsequent generations have failed to crack it? And if the manuscript was indeed meant to be secret, why did it survive the centuries without being destroyed or lost? These questions cast doubt on the theory that the manuscript is the work of a single author, leading many to propose alternative explanations. One such theory suggests that the manuscript was created by a secret society. According to this view, the manuscript was a collective project, crafted by a group of learned individuals dedicated to preserving knowledge that was too dangerous or sacred for the general public to understand. This theory often links the manuscript to the Rosicrucians, a mystical group that rose to prominence in the early 17th century. The Rosicrucians were known for their alchemical beliefs and their use of cryptic symbols, and many see parallels between the imagery in the Voynich Manuscript and the symbols associated with the Rosicrucians. These groups were often secretive, and they employed coded text to pass down their knowledge while protecting it from external scrutiny. If the manuscript were the product of such a group, it might have been created not as a single, cohesive work, but as a kind of encoded library, a repository of knowledge meant to be decoded by future initiates. This theory is enticing because it fits with the manuscript's overall mystique, its sense of hidden wisdom and knowledge. But once again, there are problems with this explanation. If the manuscript were a secret text meant to be preserved for future generations, why was it abandoned? If it was designed to serve as a key to unlocking a hidden tradition or philosophy, why has no one been able to understand its message? Moreover, if the manuscript was created by a secret society, why did it remain hidden for centuries before being rediscovered by Wilfred Voynich in 1912? These questions further complicate the theory that the manuscript was the work of a secret society, and they suggest that perhaps the manuscript's origins are even more obscure than we can imagine. Another possibility that has been proposed is that the Voynich manuscript is a remnant from an ancient civilization. Some theorists suggest that the manuscript may have been created by a society that existed long before the rise of known civilizations, possibly even predating the Egyptians, Mesopotamians, and other ancient cultures. This theory posits that the manuscript contains knowledge that was passed down from a lost civilization, one whose language, writing systems, and customs have since been erased from history. Proponents of this theory argue that the book's peculiar symbols and illustrations could be remnants of a forgotten language, a code that was used by a civilization that was far more advanced than our own in certain respects. Perhaps these people had a deep understanding of the cosmos, the natural world, or even the human psyche, knowledge that has since been lost to time. The idea of a lost civilization is certainly an alluring one. After all, human history is full of mysteries, from the ancient pyramids of Egypt to the strange megaliths of Stonehenge, that suggest the existence of cultures with knowledge and abilities that we still do not fully understand. Could the Voynich manuscript be a relic of such a civilization, a final fragment of their wisdom that has survived through the ages? It's a theory that appeals to those who believe in the possibility of hidden or suppressed knowledge, a notion that resonates with the idea of lost technologies or forgotten peoples. The manuscript, in this view, could be seen as a bridge to a lost era, one that contained profound secrets waiting to be uncovered. Yet, as with the other theories, this one too raises difficult questions. If the manuscript were truly a relic of an ancient civilization, how did it survive for so long without being discovered? Why, after centuries of exploration, has no trace of this civilization been found? And if the manuscript contained knowledge from a lost era, why has it resisted all attempts at translation or interpretation? These questions suggest that the manuscript's origins may be even more mysterious than the theory of an ancient civilization can explain. One final theory worth considering is that the manuscript is a deliberate hoax. This idea suggests that the book was created in the 15th or 16th century as a work of art or a prank, intended to deceive or mystify its audience. Proponents of this theory argue that the manuscript's complexity, the intricacy of its illustrations, and the design of its language are all too perfect to be the work of an untrained or inexperienced author. Could it be that the manuscript was created as an elaborate puzzle, one designed to baffle and intrigue, without any actual hidden meaning? If this were the case, the manuscript would be a kind of intellectual trick, an attempt to create a sense of mystery and awe by fabricating something that appears to be profound but is ultimately meaningless. While the hoax theory does provide a straightforward explanation for the manuscript's perplexing nature, it doesn't quite capture the sense of wonder and intrigue that the manuscript evokes. The manuscript is far too detailed, too well-crafted, to be dismissed so easily. Moreover, if it were a hoax, why has it endured for centuries? The manuscript has fascinated generations of scholars, cryptographers, and historians. Its allure is undeniable, and the idea of it being a simple prank seems less likely with each passing year. The manuscript's ongoing mystery continues to captivate the world, suggesting that it holds something deeper than mere deception. Each of these theories, whether it be that the manuscript is the work of a single alchemist, a secret society, a lost civilization, or a hoax, adds its own layer of intrigue to the story. But none of them provide a definitive answer. The true origins of the Voynich manuscript remain as elusive as ever, and as long as the manuscript continues to exist, the questions surrounding it will only grow. It's as if the manuscript itself is challenging us, daring us to uncover its secrets. But perhaps the greatest mystery of all is why the manuscript exists in the first place. Is it a message from the past, a key to a hidden world of knowledge? Or is it a work of art, a beautiful enigma meant to remain unsolved, a riddle that will never be answered? The answers may never come, but the allure of the manuscript's mystery will continue to capture the imagination of all who encounter it. As the centuries have passed since Wilfred Voynich first laid eyes on the manuscript in 1912, the question of its authenticity has not diminished, but rather grown more complex. Is the Voynich manuscript genuinely an ancient text, or is it simply a sophisticated hoax, a medieval puzzle designed to perplex and confuse? This question has been the subject of much debate, and while it may seem simple on the surface, the layers of mystery surrounding the manuscript suggest that the answer is far from clear. Some researchers are convinced that the manuscript is a genuine relic of the past, an ancient text that has survived the ravages of time. Others, however, argue that it was created in the relatively recent past, perhaps in the 15th or 16th century, as a form of intellectual art or an elaborate prank. This debate over authenticity, far from being settled, only adds fuel to the fire of curiosity, as both sides present compelling arguments that make the manuscript even more captivating. One of the strongest arguments in favor of the manuscript's authenticity is the materials it is made from. The manuscript is written on vellum, a high-quality form of parchment made from animal skins, which was used for manuscripts in the Middle Ages and Renaissance. The vellum is remarkably well preserved, showing no signs of deterioration or modern restoration. In addition to the vellum, the ink used in the manuscript has been analyzed and found to be consistent with ink formulations used during the 15th century. Radiocarbon dating of the vellum has also confirmed that the manuscript was produced sometime between 1404 and 1438, which places it firmly in the late Middle Ages at the height of the Renaissance period in Europe. This evidence strongly suggests that the manuscript is not a modern creation, but a genuine historical artifact. The use of vellum and the types of inks and pigments used in the manuscript are consistent with materials that would have been available to scholars and scribes in the 15th century. Yet, despite these indications of authenticity, many researchers continue to question the true origins of the manuscript. For one, the style of the text and the oddities in the illustrations seem to suggest a deliberate departure from the typical conventions of the time. If this manuscript were truly created in the 15th century, why does it lack any recognizable connection to known languages or traditions of that period? Why, in a time when the humanist Renaissance was in full swing, would someone go to such lengths to produce a manuscript filled with such strange, cryptic symbols and illustrations that seem to defy logic? The lack of any historical reference to the manuscript prior to Voynich's discovery in 1912 only deepens the mystery. If it were a genuine work from the 15th century, surely it would have been documented or referenced in some way by scholars or intellectuals of the time. Yet, there is no mention of it in any historical record, no references to its existence, and no trace of its creator or purpose. It is as though the manuscript was intentionally hidden from history, preserved in secret for reasons that remain unclear. The peculiar style of the manuscript only adds to its mystique. The illustrations, for example, appear to have been drawn by someone with a deep understanding of plant life and astronomy. Yet many of the plants depicted in the manuscript are entirely unknown to science. The botanical drawings, while highly detailed, seem to depict species that do not exist in the natural world. There are plants with strange shapes and otherworldly features, plants that combine elements of various known species in ways that defy nature's laws. This has led some scholars to speculate that the manuscript's author had access to knowledge that was far beyond the reach of anyone in the 15th century. Others argue that the illustrations are intentionally fantastical, designed to evoke a sense of mystery and wonder, and that their bizarre nature is a deliberate attempt to mislead or confuse future readers. The lack of any clear historical references to the manuscript, combined with the unusual nature of the text and illustrations, has led some researchers to suggest that it was created as an elaborate hoax. One theory proposes that the manuscript was produced by a brilliant and eccentric individual in the 15th century, someone who wanted to create a work that would captivate and mystify the intellectuals of the time. This person may have been an alchemist, a mystic, or a scholar with an interest in cryptography and hidden knowledge. By using a combination of obscure symbols, invented plants, and nonsensical language, they created a manuscript that would baffle and confound future generations. Perhaps the manuscript was intended as a commentary on the nature of knowledge itself, an intellectual challenge meant to provoke curiosity and wonder, rather than to convey any actual information. There is also the possibility that the manuscript was designed to serve as a kind of intellectual game, a puzzle created to test the abilities of cryptographers and linguists. This theory suggests that the author of the manuscript may have had a deep understanding of linguistics and cipher design, and that they deliberately created a work that would be nearly impossible to decipher. By encoding the manuscript in such a way that it appeared to be a genuine ancient text, the author could have set a trap for future generations, inviting them to solve the mystery, but ensuring that the puzzle could never truly be cracked. This idea raises intriguing questions about the nature of the manuscript's purpose. If it was indeed a hoax, what was its creator trying to achieve? Was it a work of art, a riddle, or a social commentary on the limits of human understanding? Despite these theories about the manuscript's potential status as a hoax, there is still a lingering sense of intrigue surrounding its origins. The manuscript has survived for more than 600 years without being definitively explained, and that fact alone lends it a sense of mystery and authenticity. The persistence of the manuscript through centuries, from the time of its creation to its rediscovery in the 20th century, suggests that it holds something unique, whether that be knowledge, symbolism, or a deep, hidden truth that has eluded humanity for centuries. Some scholars, when confronted with the idea of a hoax, argue that it's simply too well crafted to be a modern creation. The intricate drawings, the meticulously designed language, and the careful attention to detail in the manuscript suggest that it was not made in haste or with the intention of deceiving. Instead, it feels like the work of someone who had a deep purpose, someone who sought to communicate something important, something that remains just out of reach. This ongoing debate about the authenticity of the manuscript has, in many ways, become part of its allure. It is a work that continues to defy explanation, resisting all attempts at interpretation. Yet at the same time, it draws us in with the promise of hidden knowledge. Whether it is an ancient relic, a cryptic cipher, or a carefully crafted hoax, the Voynich Manuscript continues to fascinate and mystify. The very fact that we cannot fully understand it makes it all the more captivating, a symbol of the limitations of our own knowledge and the mysteries that still lie beyond our comprehension. The manuscript's origins may never be fully understood, but perhaps that is precisely what makes it so compelling. It challenges us to look beyond the surface, to question what we know, and to wonder what secrets lie hidden in the pages of this enigmatic book. Its authenticity may remain uncertain, but its ability to provoke thought and inspire curiosity is undeniable. And in that sense, the Voynich Manuscript may just be one of the most authentic puzzles ever created, one that asks not for answers, but for contemplation. The allure of the Voynich Manuscript is not merely in its baffling script or the stunning illustrations that adorn its pages. It also lies in the sheer mystery of its existence. The manuscript has passed through many hands over the centuries, from unknown creators to cryptographers, historians, and collectors. Yet, despite the centuries of intrigue, its true origins and purpose remain as elusive as ever. There's a constant undercurrent of fascination that surrounds the manuscript, and this fascination is not just academic. It touches on something deeper, something almost existential. It represents a riddle that challenges our perceptions of history, knowledge, and even the limits of human understanding. But what makes this manuscript so magnetic, and why does it continue to spark so much intrigue? One of the factors contributing to the manuscript's aura is its enigmatic nature. The Voynich Manuscript is unique in the world of historical texts, a book that resists all attempts at clear understanding. Unlike the majority of historical documents that either provide clear historical or cultural insight, the manuscript offers no easy answers. It doesn't tell us a coherent story, nor does it reveal any obvious connections to known historical events or figures. It is as though the manuscript exists in a space of its own, outside of time, its mystery suspended in a state of incompleteness. This lack of resolution is what makes it so intriguing. Most historical documents can be understood through research, context, and analysis, but the Voynich Manuscript defies traditional methods of investigation. It's like a puzzle with no image on the box, no clues to its solution, just pieces scattered across time and space. The manuscript's baffling script only heightens its mystique. Unlike other cryptic texts from history, which can often be deciphered using logical or mathematical analysis, the Voynich Manuscript offers no such clear path forward. For years, cryptographers have tried and failed to decode its text, employing some of the most advanced tools of linguistic analysis, including modern algorithms and artificial intelligence. But despite all their efforts, no one has been able to unravel the meaning of the manuscript's language. Some have speculated that the manuscript is a cipher, one so sophisticated that it remains unsolved even by the most modern cryptographic methods. Others have suggested that the text represents a completely unknown language, one that was created by a lost civilization or a secret society. Either way, the manuscript resists easy interpretation, which only adds to its mystique. The manuscript's illustrations are equally perplexing. They are not simply decorative. They appear to have been carefully designed to convey some deeper, hidden meaning. The botanical drawings, for example, depict plants that do not exist in nature, plants with unfamiliar shapes and features that seem to combine elements of known species in ways that defy biological logic. These images suggest that the manuscript was created by someone with a deep understanding of plants and their symbolism, yet the plants themselves are entirely alien. Some have suggested that the botanical illustrations may represent a coded language, where each plant corresponds to a specific idea, concept, or element of alchemical knowledge. Others have posited that the plants are symbolic, representing something much deeper, perhaps the stages of a spiritual or philosophical journey. But no one can say for sure what these illustrations mean, adding to the manuscript's overwhelming sense of mystery. Alongside the plants, the manuscript contains a range of other images, astrological charts, diagrams, and illustrations of women engaged in mysterious rituals. The astrological charts seem to depict celestial bodies and constellations, but they do not correspond to any known system of astrology. Some of the charts appear to represent the stars in ways that were not recognized by scholars of the time, suggesting that the manuscript's author possessed knowledge of the cosmos that was far ahead of their time. The presence of such advanced astronomical ideas only deepens the mystery. How could someone in the 15th century have knowledge of celestial bodies and phenomena that were not widely recognized until much later? Did the creator of the manuscript have access to forbidden knowledge, or was this an attempt to encode a hidden understanding of the universe? Equally strange are the depictions of women in the manuscript, many of whom are shown bathing in strange alchemical liquids. These images are both surreal and symbolic, suggesting a kind of purification or transformation. What do these depictions mean? Are they part of an alchemical process, a visual representation of the transformation of base materials into something higher? Or are they more spiritual, depicting the transformation of the soul or mind. Some have suggested that these images represent fertility rituals or the idea of rebirth, while others have linked them to the concept of the sacred feminine, an archetype that has appeared in many cultures throughout history. Regardless of their exact meaning, these illustrations contribute to the manuscript's air of mystery and its suggestion of deeper knowledge hidden from the world. Yet, the most perplexing thing about the manuscript is its resistance to interpretation. It seems to intentionally defy all attempts at understanding, as though it was created to elude our grasp. There have been numerous theories about its origins, its purpose, and its creator, but no one has been able to come up with a definitive answer. Some have suggested that the manuscript is an elaborate hoax, a work of art designed to provoke thought and fascination rather than communicate any specific information. Others have argued that it is the product of an ancient civilization, lost to history, but still capable of imparting profound knowledge through the manuscript. Still others believe that the manuscript was created by a secret society, whose members encoded their wisdom in the form of symbols and images, leaving behind a puzzle for future generations to solve. Each of these theories presents a compelling narrative, yet none of them can account for the manuscript's complete mystery. The hoax theory, for example, would explain the manuscript's strange and fantastical elements, but does not explain why such a sophisticated work would be created in the first place. If the manuscript was merely a work of art or intellectual amusement, why would it be so meticulously crafted with such attention to detail and complexity? Likewise, the theory that the manuscript was created by a secret society or lost civilization suggests that it contains hidden knowledge. But what exactly is that knowledge? And why has no one been able to access it? The inability to decipher the manuscript also touches on something deeper about the human desire for knowledge. The Voynich Manuscript represents a challenge to our understanding of history, language, and human cognition. It forces us to confront the limitations of our own knowledge, to recognize that there are mysteries in the world that may never be fully understood. In this sense, the manuscript becomes a symbol of the unknowable, a reminder that there are things beyond our comprehension, things that exist just outside the boundaries of our understanding. It is a mystery that refuses to be solved, yet in its unsolved state, it captivates us. The manuscript's resistance to interpretation only heightens its allure, pulling us in deeper with each new attempt to decipher it. As the years go by and new technologies emerge, some have hoped that advances in artificial intelligence, machine learning, and cryptography might finally unlock the manuscript's secrets. Algorithms have been employed to search for patterns in the text, and some have even suggested that the manuscript could be a form of proto-language, an ancient form of communication that was lost to history. But despite these modern efforts, the manuscript remains as mysterious as ever. Perhaps, in the end, the manuscript is meant to remain unsolved. Perhaps its purpose is not to be understood, but to provoke a sense of wonder, to remind us that there are still mysteries in the world that resist explanation. There's also something deeply philosophical about the manuscript. It stands as a monument to the unknown, an artifact that challenges our assumptions about history, language, and meaning. It forces us to question what we know and to recognize that the world is full of things we will never understand. The manuscript is a puzzle that cannot be solved, yet it continues to intrigue, to provoke, and to inspire. In this way, it serves as a reminder that knowledge is not just about understanding the world, but about embracing the mystery and the unknown. The manuscript's ability to persist through time and maintain its hold on our imagination is a testament to its power. It is a work that challenges us to look beyond the surface and consider the deeper questions that lie beneath. Whether it is a cryptic puzzle, a relic of an ancient civilization, or a piece of intellectual art, the Voynich Manuscript continues to captivate, challenging us to explore the limits of our understanding and to embrace the mysteries that still remain. It is a book that refuses to be solved, but in doing so, it offers something far more valuable, an invitation to wonder, to question, and to seek the hidden knowledge that may lie just beyond our reach. The Voynich Manuscript is, and will likely always be, a riddle that keeps us searching, a challenge to our intellect, and a symbol of the mysteries that continue to define our world. As we delve deeper into the story of the Voynich Manuscript, we encounter yet another intriguing layer, its modern-day implications. In a world where knowledge is often commodified, digitized, and rapidly shared, the manuscript remains one of the last great mysteries of the analog age. Despite centuries of academic scrutiny, cryptography, and modern technological advances, the manuscript continues to elude our grasp, like a ghost haunting the collective curiosity of mankind. The manuscript's persistence in modern times is not just about its historical allure, but its relevance to our ongoing quest for meaning, truth, and the unknown. It serves as a reminder that despite all our advances in science, technology, and understanding, there are still enigmas that defy explanation and remain outside the realm of human comprehension. In the 20th century, when a manuscript was rediscovered by Wilfred Voynich, it was not just a relic of a bygone era. It became a touchstone for the intersection of history, mystery, and the emerging field of cryptography. Voynich himself, a bibliophile and antiquarian, was obsessed with solving the puzzle the manuscript represented, and his fascination sparked renewed interest in the book. His investigation, however, was only the beginning. Since then, a series of cryptographers, linguists, and scientists have thrown themselves into the task of decoding the manuscript, using increasingly sophisticated tools and methodologies. Yet, despite decades of effort, none have succeeded in fully unraveling its code, and this is part of what makes the manuscript so compelling. The manuscript resists not only linguistic and cryptographic analysis, but also defies the standard methods we use to decode or understand complex artifacts. This resistance is what continues to feed the idea that the manuscript may hold secrets of such profundity that it challenges the very limits of human understanding. One of the most fascinating aspects of the modern investigation into the manuscript is the way in which it has captured the imagination of people from all walks of life. Scholars, of course, have been involved in deciphering the text, but so have hobbyists, amateur cryptographers, and even artificial intelligence engineers. The manuscript has become a symbol of the untapped potential of the human mind, a riddle that continues to provoke curiosity in an era where so many other mysteries seem to have been solved. In a world where information is more accessible than ever, the Voynich Manuscript reminds us that there are still some questions that do not have answers, some puzzles that cannot be pieced together, and some codes that remain sealed. This paradox of a text that has survived for centuries, defying all attempts to decode it, in a world that is increasingly defined by data and knowledge, is part of the manuscript's profound allure. The manuscript's influence extends beyond the realm of academia into popular culture, where it has become a symbol of deep mystery and hidden knowledge. It has appeared in novels, movies, and television series, often serving as the backdrop for stories involving secret societies, ancient prophecies, and codes that hold the key to unlocking profound mysteries. The manuscript has become the stuff of legend, woven into the fabric of modern myth. It is the literary equivalent of a treasure map, one that promises the discovery of some ancient secret, but which always remains just out of reach. This popular fascination with the Voynich manuscript highlights a deeper cultural desire for the arcane, for hidden knowledge that has been suppressed, lost, or forgotten. In a world where much of history is understood through a lens of rationality, the manuscript represents something different, an anomaly, a crack in the fabric of understanding that offers a glimpse into something greater, something beyond what we can comprehend. Yet, even in the realm of popular culture, the manuscript's legacy is not without controversy. Some people view it as a symbol of the unexplained, a physical manifestation of the unknown, while others dismiss it as nothing more than an elaborate hoax or an intellectual dead end. Over the years, many theories have been proposed regarding the manuscript's true purpose. Some argue that it is a coded work of alchemy or astrology. Others believe it may be a work of medieval art created solely to deceive. A few claim that it holds ancient wisdom, passed down through secret societies or lost civilizations, while still others suggest that it is nothing more than a linguistic curiosity, a jumble of letters and symbols with no deeper meaning. All these interpretations serve to fuel the fire of mystery, and yet none can definitively answer the question of what the manuscript actually represents. It exists in a state of ambiguity, both compelling and frustrating in equal measure, a symbol of our collective inability to comprehend what lies beyond the edge of our knowledge. The manuscript's resistance to interpretation has led some to speculate that it was never meant to be understood. Perhaps it was intended to remain an enigma, a perpetual riddle that serves as a challenge to the human mind. In this sense, the Voynich Manuscript could be seen as a work of intellectual art, one that is more about the act of questioning and exploring than about finding definitive answers. Its purpose, perhaps, is not to impart knowledge, but to encourage the pursuit of knowledge itself. The manuscript may have been created to provoke thought, to inspire curiosity, and to remind us of the limits of our understanding. By keeping its secrets hidden, it forces us to confront the reality that there are mysteries in the world that cannot be solved, that some things are simply beyond our reach. On the other hand, some believe that the manuscript's purpose is not philosophical, but practical. Perhaps it was meant to convey a specific message, one that has yet to be decoded. The presence of such detailed and complex illustrations of plants, astronomical charts, and other enigmatic symbols suggests that the manuscript was created by someone with a deep knowledge of these subjects. If the manuscript is indeed a codified work of some kind, it may contain lost or suppressed knowledge, such as alchemical secrets, ancient astronomical wisdom, or even hidden truths about the natural world. This idea aligns with the belief that the manuscript is not just a curiosity, but a repository of knowledge that has been deliberately hidden or obscured. The fact that it resists modern attempts at deciphering only strengthens this theory. It suggests that the knowledge contained within the manuscript is either too advanced or too dangerous to be revealed in a simple, straightforward manner. The manuscript could be seen as a cautionary tale, a work that holds wisdom, but wisdom that cannot be easily accessed. As much as the manuscript represents the limits of human understanding, it also reflects our ongoing attempts to stretch the boundaries of what we know. Over the past few decades, new technologies have brought us closer than ever to unlocking the manuscript secrets. The use of computational analysis, machine learning, and artificial intelligence has allowed researchers to examine the manuscript in ways that were previously impossible. Some believe that these tools will eventually crack the code, revealing the manuscript's true meaning. Others argue that the manuscript's secrets may remain beyond the reach of even the most advanced technologies, suggesting that its true meaning lies not in the text, but in its ability to provoke contemplation and wonder. The manuscript has taken on a life of its own, a symbol of the unyielding pursuit of knowledge. And perhaps it is this pursuit itself that is the true answer to the riddle. As we look to the future, the manuscript's influence is unlikely to wane. The mystery it presents is too tantalizing, too deep, and too complex to fade from collective memory. It will continue to inspire cryptographers, historians, artists, and storytellers, who will search for answers that may never come. But in this search, the Voynich Manuscript offers something invaluable. It reminds us that there is always more to discover, more to question, and more to learn. In a world where answers often come too easily, where knowledge is increasingly fragmented and commodified, the manuscript stands as a beacon of the unknown, a symbol of the mysteries that continue to elude us. And in that sense, perhaps the true value of the manuscript lies not in what it reveals, but in the never-ending pursuit of its secrets. The story of the Voynich Manuscript is a tale of intrigue and mystery that spans centuries, yet its significance goes beyond its age or its origin. It speaks to the human condition and the eternal quest for knowledge. In a world increasingly shaped by rapid technological advances, the manuscript continues to resist the forces of time and progress. It stands as a symbol of everything we cannot yet understand, a reminder of the many things that remain outside the boundaries of human comprehension. The manuscript's continuing allure, despite its age and the countless hours of study it has endured, is in no small part because it represents our insatiable desire to decipher the unknown. And in a world that often values answers more than questions, the Voynich manuscript's resistance to interpretation has made it even more compelling. It is as though the manuscript were designed to force us to confront the limits of our knowledge and to remind us that some mysteries may never be solved, no matter how hard we try. As we delve deeper into the manuscript's history, we begin to see its true power, not just as a puzzle, but as a symbol of humanity's complex relationship with knowledge, mystery, and the passage of time. It was created at a time when the world was experiencing profound changes, a time when ancient systems of thought were being challenged by new ways of seeing the world. The Renaissance was in full swing, and the boundaries between science, art, and magic were often blurred. It was a time of intellectual ferment, of discovery and rediscovery, when people were trying to make sense of the universe and their place within it. The manuscript, in this context, becomes not just a curiosity, but a product of this tumultuous period, a period when the old ways of thinking were being questioned and new ideas were emerging that would change the course of history. The manuscript is a testament to the intellectual curiosity of the time, a time when people were seeking answers to the deepest questions of existence. It speaks to a time when the line between science and mysticism was not so clearly defined, and when scholars, alchemists, and philosophers often worked together, blurring the lines between the empirical and the mystical. The manuscript itself seems to embody this blending of the scientific and the esoteric, combining detailed botanical illustrations with astrological charts, alchemical symbols, and strange diagrams. Its imagery and structure suggest that it was created by someone who is deeply invested in the mysteries of the natural world and the cosmos, someone who sought to understand the hidden patterns that govern the universe, but who is also deeply immersed in the mystical traditions of their time. The exact purpose of the manuscript is unclear, but there are several theories that attempt to explain its creation. Some believe that it was a work of alchemy, an attempt to encode a secret alchemical text that would reveal the secrets of transforming base metals into gold or achieving immortality. Others suggest that it was a kind of astrological guide, designed to help its creator or its intended audience understand the movements of the stars and planets, and how they might influence human destiny. Still, others argue that the manuscript is a kind of spiritual or philosophical treatise, intended to convey hidden knowledge about the nature of the soul or the mind. Whatever its true purpose, the manuscript's strange combination of images and symbols suggests that its creator was not simply interested in documenting the world around them, but in uncovering the deeper, hidden meanings of existence itself. The manuscript's resistance to interpretation has only added to its mystique over the centuries. Many have tried and failed to decipher its meaning, using a variety of techniques ranging from traditional linguistic analysis to modern cryptographic methods. Yet, despite all the efforts of historians, linguists, and mathematicians, the manuscript remains as enigmatic as ever. Some of the most brilliant minds of the 20th and 21st centuries have attempted to unlock its secrets, yet they too have been thwarted. The complexity of the text, the bizarre illustrations, and the seemingly random nature of the language have confounded even the most advanced analytical tools. In a way, this makes the manuscript even more compelling. Its very resistance to interpretation, its stubborn refusal to yield up its secrets, adds to its allure. It is as though the manuscript is intentionally challenging us, daring us to uncover its hidden meanings, but always staying just out of reach. This persistent mystery surrounding the manuscript has led to a host of theories, each one more imaginative than the last. Some believe that the manuscript is a hoax, a clever prank created by an unknown author to baffle and confuse future generations. Others argue that it was the work of a secret society, a group of individuals who sought to encode their knowledge in a way that only a select few would be able to understand. There are even those who believe that the manuscript contains knowledge from a lost civilization, one whose language and symbols have been forgotten by history. Still, others suggest that the manuscript is a form of code, a cipher that conceals a deeper truth. Each of these theories reflects a different approach to the manuscript's mystery, but none of them can offer a definitive answer. This uncertainty, this sense of unfinished business, is part of what keeps the manuscript so captivating. It's as though the manuscript is perpetually suspended between the past and the future, a work that refuses to be fully understood and, in doing so, continues to inspire curiosity and speculation. In the modern era, the manuscript has taken on a new life, not just as an academic mystery, but as a cultural artifact, a symbol of everything we don't know and may never know. It has become a fixture in popular culture, appearing in novels, films, and television shows. It is often depicted as a key to unlocking some hidden, ancient wisdom, perhaps the secret to eternal life, or a long-lost scientific discovery that could revolutionize our understanding of the world. In these fictional portrayals, the manuscript is often imbued with an almost magical power, a text that can unlock the deepest mysteries of the universe. This portrayal of the manuscript as a vessel of hidden knowledge speaks to our collective desire for discovery and our fascination with the unknown. In a world where so much is understood and so much is available at our fingertips, the manuscript represents the last great mystery, an artifact that continues to resist explanation, that continues to tantalize and elude. But beyond its cultural significance, the manuscript also speaks to a deeper, more existential longing. It reminds us that there are still mysteries that lie beyond our reach, that not everything can be understood, explained, or decoded. The manuscript, in this sense, is a metaphor for the human condition. It represents the limits of our knowledge, our inability to fully comprehend the universe, and our constant striving for understanding. We live in a world where information is increasingly abundant, and yet we are confronted by the reality that there will always be questions that cannot be answered. The manuscript's enduring mystery is a reflection of this existential truth, that there are things that we may never know, things that are beyond the grasp of even the most advanced minds. As we continue to search for answers, the manuscript remains a symbol of intellectual curiosity, of humanity's endless quest for knowledge, and of the uncharted territories that still lie ahead. It is a reminder that the pursuit of understanding is an ongoing journey, one that may never reach its destination, and that the process of questioning and exploration is just as important, if not more so, than the answers we seek. The Voynich Manuscript, in its enigmatic form, captures this spirit of inquiry. It continues to spark debate, inspire theories, and fuel our imagination, all while remaining steadfastly out of reach. In a world that often values answers over questions, the manuscript stands as a testament to the enduring power of mystery and the unyielding human desire to uncover the unknown. Its story is not just about a cryptic book. It is about the nature of knowledge itself, and the realization that some mysteries are meant to be cherished, not solved. As we journey further into the heart of the Voynich Manuscript's enigma, it becomes increasingly clear that its allure goes beyond the puzzle of its script or the mystery of its illustrations. There's a deeper layer to this mystery, one that connects the manuscript to the great questions that have driven humanity for millennia. In many ways, the manuscript can be seen as a relic of the unknown, a testament to our insatiable curiosity, and an artifact that embodies the very nature of our desire to uncover what lies hidden beneath the surface of the world. Throughout history, there have always been those who sought to push the boundaries of knowledge, whether through alchemy, astronomy, or mysticism. The manuscript stands at the intersection of these traditions, a product of an age where the scientific and the mystical were not as clearly separated as they are today. In the 15th century, when a manuscript is believed to have been created, Europe was a place of intellectual and cultural ferment. The Renaissance was in full bloom, a time when humanists sought to rediscover the lost knowledge of antiquity, and alchemists sought to unlock the secrets of the universe. During this period, many scholars were exploring the mysteries of the natural world, delving into fields that would later form the foundation of modern science. However, alongside this rational inquiry, there was also a strong current of mysticism, astrology, and alchemical experimentation. It is within this context that the Voynich Manuscript was likely created, an artifact that blends the rational with the esoteric, the scientific with the mystical. This connection between the manuscript and the intellectual environment of the Renaissance is what makes it so captivating. It's not just a puzzle. It's a glimpse into a time when knowledge was still fluid, when the boundaries between different forms of understanding were not so rigidly defined. The manuscript's cryptic nature is perhaps its most compelling aspect. The text, written in an entirely unknown script, appears to defy all attempts at interpretation. Over the years, countless scholars have tried to decode the manuscript, using everything from traditional linguistic analysis to cutting-edge cryptographic techniques. Despite their best efforts, however, the text remains as impenetrable as ever. The manuscript script is unlike any known language, and its structure does not correspond to any established linguistic tradition. Some researchers have even suggested that it could be a constructed language, created by an unknown author with a deep understanding of linguistics and cryptography. Others believe that it is a cipher, a form of encoded writing meant to conceal its true meaning. But despite all the theories, the manuscript remains unsolved, a mystery that has confounded even the most brilliant minds. The inability to decode the manuscript is not just a scholarly frustration. It speaks to a larger issue: the limits of human knowledge. We live in an age where information is more accessible than ever before, yet the manuscript stands as a reminder that there are still mysteries that elude our understanding. In a world where almost anything can be discovered or explained with enough time and effort, the Voynich Manuscript challenges the very idea that all knowledge is within our reach. Its resistance to interpretation is both humbling and fascinating. The manuscript reminds us that there are still things beyond our comprehension, and that some puzzles are destined to remain unsolved. In this way, the manuscript represents a kind of intellectual frontier, a challenge to our belief that we can understand everything. But the manuscript's mystery is not just intellectual. It is also deeply philosophical. Throughout history, there have been many works that were created with the intention of preserving knowledge, whether that knowledge was scientific, religious, or philosophical. The Voynich Manuscript, however, does not appear to have been created with the intention of communicating knowledge in the traditional sense. Its cryptic nature suggests that it was not meant to be easily understood. Instead, it seems to have been designed to provoke thought, to challenge the mind, and to inspire curiosity. In this sense, the manuscript is a work of intellectual art, a creation that exists not for the purpose of conveying information, but for the purpose of sparking exploration. It is a puzzle that invites us to engage with it, to look beyond the surface, and to question the limits of our understanding. One of the most intriguing aspects of the manuscript is the role it plays in our collective imagination. In the centuries since its discovery, the manuscript has become a symbol of mystery, a work that embodies our desire for hidden knowledge and secret truths. It has captured the imagination of countless individuals, from scholars and cryptographers to artists and writers. In many ways, the manuscript has taken on a life of its own, transcending its status as a historical artifact and becoming something larger, an object of fascination, a symbol of everything that remains unknown. Its influence extends beyond academia and has permeated popular culture, where it often appears in stories about secret societies, ancient prophecies, and hidden wisdom. The manuscript represents the ultimate intellectual puzzle, the one that refuses to be solved, no matter how much time and effort we invest in it. In this sense, it has become a modern myth, a work that exists not just in history, but in our collective cultural consciousness. Yet, despite its place in popular culture, the manuscript remains elusive. Its true purpose and origin are still subjects of debate. Some believe that it was created as a form of intellectual exercise, a work meant to test the minds of future generations. Others believe that it contains hidden knowledge, a treasure trove of secrets that have been encoded and preserved for some future time. Perhaps it is a work of alchemy, a manuscript filled with the secrets of the philosopher's stone, or a guide to unlocking the mysteries of the universe. Still, others speculate that the manuscript is a hoax, a product of a clever mind who sought to deceive and confuse. Whatever its true origin, the manuscript continues to captivate and fascinate, a riddle that refuses to be solved. The enduring mystery of the Voynich Manuscript has led to a wide range of theories about its meaning and purpose. Some believe that it contains the lost knowledge of an ancient civilization, a civilization whose language and writing system have long since been forgotten. Others argue that the manuscript is a coded message, a cipher meant to conceal its true meaning. There are those who believe that it is a work of alchemy, a manuscript that encodes the secrets of the philosopher's stone and the process of transmutation. Still, others suggest that it is a book of prophecy, a guide to future events, or a record of some ancient wisdom that has been hidden away for centuries. Regardless of the theory, one thing is certain. The manuscript has become a symbol of mystery and the unknown, a work that continues to elude our grasp despite our best efforts to understand it. At the heart of the manuscript's mystery is the question of why it has resisted all attempts at interpretation. Why has it proven so difficult to decode? Is it because the manuscript was intentionally designed to be unreadable, or is there something deeper at play? The very fact that the manuscript has endured for centuries without revealing its secrets suggests that it may be more than just a simple puzzle. Perhaps it is a statement about the limits of knowledge, a reminder that there are some things that are meant to remain hidden. In this sense, the manuscript can be seen as a metaphor for the human condition itself. We are constantly seeking knowledge, but there are always things that elude our understanding. The manuscript stands as a symbol of this eternal quest, a riddle that challenges us to keep searching, even when the answers are not forthcoming. Over the years, many have attempted to decipher the manuscript's cryptic script, using everything from traditional linguistic analysis to modern cryptographic techniques. Despite the most advanced methods, however, the manuscript's meaning remains hidden. This failure to decode the manuscript speaks to the limits of human understanding. In a world where we are accustomed to solving problems and uncovering mysteries, the manuscript serves as a stark reminder that there are still things that cannot be understood, no matter how hard we try. It is a mystery that defies resolution, a puzzle that remains unsolved despite our best efforts. And yet, this very fact is what makes the manuscript so captivating. It represents everything that we do not know, everything that lies beyond our understanding. It is a symbol of the unknown, a challenge to the intellect, and a reminder of the vastness of the mysteries that still await us. The Voynich Manuscript continues to captivate, to puzzle, and to intrigue. It holds a unique place in the history of human curiosity and knowledge, serving as a testament to our endless search for meaning. Its mysteries remain unsolved, but in that very mystery, it continues to inspire us. It is a book that refuses to be understood, and yet in doing so, it challenges us to think more deeply, to question what we know, and to embrace the unknown. Perhaps the true value of the manuscript is not in its ultimate solution, but in the way it pushes us to keep asking questions, to keep searching for answers, and to recognize that some mysteries are meant to remain unsolved. It is a work that will continue to inspire and captivate for generations to come, a riddle that remains as elusive as the secrets it contains. The history of the Voynich Manuscript is, in many ways, as enigmatic as the manuscript itself. Its journey through time is shrouded in uncertainty, with only fragments of its story known. What we do know is that it was likely created sometime during the early 15th century, a period marked by intellectual upheaval and the blending of mysticism with the early stirrings of modern science. But despite the centuries that have passed since its creation, the manuscript's origin and purpose remain a tantalizing mystery. While some have speculated that it was produced by a single, genius author with a profound understanding of the natural world and alchemical knowledge, Others believe it could have been the work of a secret society, one seeking to encode their esoteric knowledge in a language that only a select few could understand. The truth, however, remains elusive. The manuscript first came to the attention of the modern world in 1912, when it was purchased by Wilfred Voynich, an antiquarian bookseller. Voynich's discovery would ignite a new chapter in the manuscript's mysterious existence, a chapter that would see it move from the hands of obscure owners to the spotlight of public fascination. Before Voynich's acquisition, the manuscript had passed through various owners, including the famous Emperor Rudolph II of the Holy Roman Empire, who is believed to have purchased it sometime in the late 16th century. The emperor was known for his patronage of the sciences and the occult, and it is said that he believed the manuscript held some form of ancient, hidden knowledge. Yet despite his interest, the emperor was unable to decipher the text, and the manuscript would remain a mystery even in his possession. In the years following Voynich's discovery, many cryptographers and scholars took an interest in the manuscript, hoping to unravel its secrets. The manuscript's strange script, which does not appear to correspond to any known language, has been the subject of intense scrutiny by linguists and cryptanalysts alike. Over the years, various theories have been proposed about the nature of the text. Some believe that it is an elaborate hoax, a creation designed to deceive and confuse. Others argue that it is a cipher, a work created by an unknown author to conceal their knowledge. There are those who suggest that the manuscript represents a lost language, one that was used by an ancient civilization whose records have long since disappeared. But despite the best efforts of many brilliant minds, the manuscript's meaning remains just out of reach. It has proven to be a puzzle that resists all attempts at solution, a riddle that has confounded generations of scholars. In many ways, the manuscript's inability to be decoded only adds to its mystique. It stands as a symbol of the limits of human understanding, a reminder that there are still mysteries that lie beyond the grasp of even the most advanced minds. The manuscript is a testament to the enduring power of the unknown, a work that has withstood centuries of scrutiny without giving up its secrets. It challenges our assumptions about the nature of knowledge, forcing us to confront the possibility that there are some things we may never understand. This idea is both humbling and captivating. Perhaps the true meaning of the manuscript is not to be found in its words, but in the questions it raises. The very fact that it remains unsolved is a reflection of our inability to comprehend the full scope of the universe, of the mysteries that still await discovery. The manuscript's illustrations also play a significant role in the ongoing fascination with the work. The images contained within its pages are as puzzling as the text itself, featuring strange plants, celestial diagrams, and naked women engaged in what appear to be ritualistic acts. Some of the plants depicted in the manuscript are entirely fictional, creatures of the imagination that do not exist in the natural world. Others resemble real plants, but are presented in unusual ways, with exaggerated features and unfamiliar shapes. The botanical illustrations have led some scholars to speculate that the manuscript could be a work of alchemical or herbal knowledge, a guide to the mystical properties of plants and herbs. Others have suggested that the illustrations might be symbolic, representing something deeper, perhaps a spiritual or philosophical journey. Whatever the case, the illustrations are as mysterious as the text, further deepening the intrigue surrounding the manuscript. Equally puzzling are the astrological and astronomical diagrams found in the manuscript. These charts appear to show constellations and planetary movements, but they do not correspond to any known system of astrology. Some researchers have suggested that they may represent a lost or secret astrological system, one that was known only to a select group of scholars or mystics. The manuscript's use of the stars and planets as a framework for understanding the world points to an ancient tradition of astrology and cosmology, one that sought to uncover the hidden connections between the celestial and earthly realms. The fact that these charts do not align with any known system of astrology only adds to their allure, suggesting that the manuscript may contain knowledge that was deliberately hidden from the public. The illustrations of women in the manuscript are perhaps the most enigmatic of all. These women are depicted in various stages of undress, often surrounded by strange symbols or engaging in what appear to be ritualistic activities. Some scholars have suggested that these images represent fertility, rites, or rituals associated with the goddess or the sacred feminine. Others believe that they might symbolize the process of alchemical transformation, a theme that appears throughout many esoteric texts. The women in the manuscript are often shown in what could be interpreted as a state of transition, moving between different stages of being. This imagery has led to the idea that the manuscript might be a kind of spiritual or philosophical guide, one that charts the stages of a journey from ignorance to enlightenment. The manuscript structure and layout are also noteworthy. It is divided into several sections, each one dedicated to a different theme or subject. There are sections on plants, astrology, bathing women, and even a section that appears to be a kind of cosmic map, illustrating the relationship between the planets and stars. Each of these sections is presented in a way that suggests a deliberate and thoughtful organization, yet the overall purpose of the manuscript remains unclear. Some have suggested that the manuscript was meant to be a kind of compendium of knowledge, an encyclopedia of esoteric wisdom that sought to bring together the teachings of alchemy, astrology, and herbalism. Others have argued that it was a work of personal reflection, a text created by an individual who sought to record their spiritual or intellectual journey. As we look at the manuscript from a modern perspective, we are forced to consider its relevance in the context of today's world. In an era defined by digital information, where knowledge is more accessible than ever before, the manuscript represents something much older, much more elusive. It is a relic of a time when knowledge was not so easily obtainable, when the boundaries between science and mysticism were not so sharply drawn. The manuscript serves as a reminder of the mysteries that still exist in the world, of the knowledge that has been lost or obscured over time. It challenges us to think beyond the limits of our current understanding and to recognize that there may still be truths out there that are waiting to be uncovered. The manuscript's persistence through the centuries speaks to the enduring power of the unknown, to the idea that there are still things that remain hidden, waiting for someone to find the key to unlock their meaning. In the end, the Voynich Manuscript is not just a puzzle to be solved. It is a symbol of the ongoing human quest for knowledge. It embodies the idea that there are mysteries in the world that are beyond our comprehension, and that the search for understanding is just as important as the answers we seek. It is a reminder that knowledge is not always something that can be neatly packaged and understood. Sometimes, the most valuable knowledge is the one that resists easy answers, the kind that forces us to question what we know and look deeper into the unknown. The manuscript's true value may never lie in a final answer, but in the questions it raises and the curiosity it continues to inspire. Even if we never fully decipher its meaning, the manuscript will continue to captivate us, challenging us to think more deeply about the world around us and the mysteries that lie just beyond our reach. The fascination with the Voynich Manuscript, however, extends far beyond the intellectual puzzles it presents. Its history, as much as its content, is shrouded in mystery and intrigue. There is something almost mythical about the manuscript's journey through time, and the way it has remained largely beyond our grasp makes it all the more captivating. Its passage from owner to owner, and the various ways in which it has slipped in and out of the hands of historians and scholars, only enhances its air of secrecy. One of the most compelling aspects of the manuscript is not just what it contains, but the uncertainty of its origins and the way in which it has resisted all attempts at uncovering its purpose. From the time it first appeared in the hands of Emperor Rudolf II to its eventual purchase by Wilfrid Voynich in the early 20th century, the manuscript's history is marked by a pattern of intrigue and bewilderment, each new chapter adding layers to its enigmatic legacy. When we consider the manuscript's first recorded owner, Emperor Rudolf II, we find that it reflects his own personal fascination with the occult, science, and the mysterious realms of knowledge. A patron of alchemy, astrology, and other esoteric sciences, Rudolf II was the perfect person to have been drawn to the manuscript, with its seemingly arcane symbols and detailed illustrations. It's rumored that he believed the book was of immense importance, even going as far as to offer vast sums of money to anyone who could decipher its secrets. In his mind, the manuscript may have represented not only a mystery of science or nature, but also a potential key to unlocking hidden knowledge, a way to understand the universe in a way that was previously inaccessible. Yet, despite his best efforts and the vast resources he had at his disposal, Rudolf II, like so many before and after him, was unable to unlock its meaning. The manuscript remained an enigma in his collection, just as it would for centuries afterward. The manuscript's transfer into the hands of Wilfred Voynich in 1912 marks a critical turning point in its story, ushering it into the modern world and solidifying its place as one of the most studied and talked about manuscripts in history. Voynich, a bibliophile with an eye for rare books, recognized the manuscript's potential importance when he purchased it from a Jesuit college in Italy. However, it wasn't just the manuscript's rarity that fascinated Voynich. It was the mystery of its language and the possibility that it held some long-lost knowledge that he hoped to uncover. Voynich immediately set about trying to crack the code of the manuscript, employing cryptographers and linguists to assist him in deciphering its script. Yet despite his best efforts and the time he devoted to the project, the manuscript remained unsolved, its secrets continuing to elude him. Despite this, Voynich's efforts were not entirely in vain. His discovery of the manuscript catapulted it into public consciousness, and from that moment on, it would become the subject of intense fascination for scholars, amateur cryptographers, and the general public alike. For much of the 20th century, the manuscript remained a subject of intrigue as researchers from various fields, including linguistics, cryptography, and history, tried their hand at deciphering the text. The combination of its unknown script, strange illustrations, and the sheer volume of its pages made it an irresistible puzzle, one that people from all corners of the world were eager to solve. But, despite the best minds of the day working on the problem, the manuscript remained as impenetrable as ever. It became a symbol of the limits of human understanding, an object that tantalized and intrigued but refused to reveal its secrets. Over the years, various cryptographic methods have been applied to the manuscript's text. Early attempts focused on traditional linguistic analysis, trying to match the manuscript's characters to known alphabets or cipher systems. As time passed, more sophisticated techniques were employed, such as statistical analysis of the text's letter frequencies, as well as attempts to apply modern computational algorithms to the problem. One notable example was the use of computer-assisted analysis in the 1990s, where researchers tried to identify patterns and make connections between the manuscript's characters and existing languages. However, these attempts have, by and large, failed to yield any definitive results. The manuscript script simply doesn't appear to match any known language, living or dead, nor does it seem to conform to any recognizable cipher system. For many, the manuscript's resistance to all these efforts has only deepened the mystery surrounding it. It is almost as if the text was deliberately created to be unsolvable. Some theorists suggest that the manuscript's author may have been a master cryptographer, someone who designed the code with such complexity that it would never be cracked. Others believe the manuscript could have been a work of deliberate deception, a hoax crafted to confound future generations. If it was a hoax, it was an incredibly elaborate one, involving not just the creation of an intricate script, but also the inclusion of detailed botanical, astronomical, and anatomical illustrations that appear to be taken from real-world knowledge, but distorted in ways that made them unrecognizable. This raises the question, if the manuscript was indeed a hoax, what was its purpose? Was it meant to be a prank, a work of intellectual mischief? Or was there a deeper, more purposeful reason behind its creation? The theories about the manuscript's origins and purpose are as varied as the individuals who have studied it. Some believe that it was created by a medieval alchemist or a group of alchemists seeking to encode their knowledge of the natural world, perhaps as a way of passing down their secrets to a select group of initiates. This theory is particularly compelling given the manuscript's detailed depictions of plants and herbs, many of which do not appear in any known botanical texts. Could these plants be real, or are they symbolic representations of something greater? Some scholars have speculated that the manuscript could be a guide to medicinal or magical practices, encoded in a way that only the initiated could understand. Others argue that the manuscript is purely symbolic, a work of mystical or philosophical significance that was not meant to be understood in the traditional sense, but rather experienced as a kind of intellectual or spiritual journey.